Hey everybody, come on in. Come on in. This is the Shawn Yankey Show. It is Wednesday night. So, as a lot of you know, that means it's conspiracy night. That is a fun night here for me, and hopefully for all of you. I hope everybody enjoys conspiracy night as much as I do. But welcome back to the Shawn Yankey Show. This is a live, interactive chat show where we can talk about absolutely anything. We get into anything at all on this show. Tonight's no different. It's just we're centered around conspiracy theories tonight. So come on in and join the discussion. But as usual, I've got some stuff prepared for us to talk about to get us going. But this is a comment driven show. So please take part in the show. Take part in the conversation. The better the comment section is, the better the show is going to be. I thrive off of that. But here's where I would have usually told you in the opening where we're live at. Tonight, it's just Facebook and Periscope. YouTube took away my live streaming. I don't know why. I don't know when I'll get it back. But if you're here on Facebook, please share. If you're here on Periscope, please retweet this. Get this out. Share it out. Because I depend on you guys to help grow and support this show. Just an independent little operation. So please like this video and share it out. And most important, take part in the show. If you're here on Facebook, slam those react buttons. Anytime you dig something, you see something you like, smash those react buttons. That's good interaction. That helps us do better in the algorithm. And comment. Like I said, take part in the show. Don't be shy, y'all. We don't bite. And you could talk about any conspiracy you want, any conspiracy theory at all. But if you'd like to help out with the show and do more, you can become a supporter with the link in the description on Patreon. But that is enough commercial. Let me see who's here. I am excited to get going tonight. Hey, Joan, Dale, Ginger, Brett. Dale says this music always gets my heart pumping. I love that intro music. I actually made that. I made that intro music on a music maker app that I found in the App Store, and it's actually worked out pretty good. I'm trying to find this post. I did a watch party. It doesn't look like it's doing very well, but let me bring it up. You're here on. I was trying to avoid the audio problem. Ron says, love the disclaimer. There we go. Lee's here. Lee says Fauci and Gapes are corrupt. Oh, we can get into that for sure, because you are absolutely right about that. But Helen's here, and you got Karashi Ghost shimmering. Smells amazing here. I don't know what that is, but man, it sounds fancy. Hey, Tim, Josh, Eddie, what's up, guys? Thank you for saying you love this show. That is awesome. I appreciate that. And starting off with a compliment is always great. But this is my favorite night. So I am bulletproof tonight. I cannot wait. And I worked hard today. And I'm excited about this show. But tonight is finally Wednesday. And y'all already know what that means. I told you already. It's conspiracy theory night. So I am pumped for the show. And this is my favorite night. Although it involves the most work. Like I said, I was working hard today. I actually do a ton of work for Wednesday night show because on Wednesday nights, I try to make you guys a brand new personal conspiracy theory video that I research out and create for y'all each week. That's a lot of work to do. Even a little short video, you would be amazed how much time goes into it. But I really enjoy it and I learn a lot and it's fun. And this was a recommendation. I don't remember actually how we got into this. I want to say it was somebody brought it up, and I looked into it, and it got more and more interesting the more I looked into it. It actually started off, this week's video started off being about all of the social media being a weapon, and we do graze on that tonight in the video. But the main focus ended up on Facebook's true origins. So that's what tonight's video is going to be about. So as y'all know, I'm already temporarily banned on YouTube. And Zuckerberg ain't going to like tonight's video one bit. So if the show goes down, I apologize in advance, but it is what it is. We discuss things here that the corporate establishment media doesn't want out there. But that's all that I find interesting and worth commenting on. So, seriously, that's why this is my favorite night. Because we get to have fun, but we get to explore truth. We get to pull up. Oh, I read Helen's comment. We get into all kinds of things and explore real truth, talk about real issues. And, a lot of the fun conspiracies have a lot of truth in them as well. Like recently, for example, we covered reptilians. If you're into that, check out my YouTube video, Me on Things and Stuff, while I still have a YouTube channel. Apparently, I'm in trouble over there. I bet you anything it's because I shared the Out of Shadows documentary. And if you haven't seen that, please check that out on my YouTube channel before they pull it down. They haven't yet. They don't let anybody see it. The censorship is extreme. We're going to get into Facebook's part in that tonight in the featured video, but we can get into absolutely anything at all as usual. So comment and take part during the video. Everybody keeps saying hi to Tim. Is that Tim Canova? Hey Tim, I am a big fan of yours. If that is you, I am a big fan of everything that you represent and would love to have you on. I've got to reach out again and set that up because I think it's the most relevant time for that to happen right now. And I know I'm just a baby show, but I want to get out to everybody what it is that you're representing right now. And Eddie says, thank you so much for your work. It is appreciated. Thank you. I'm going to assume you were talking to me because I want to feel good right now. But it is a lot of work making this little video. But I enjoy it, though, too, at the same time. I don't want it to sound like I'm complaining about making the videos for you guys. I really have a good time doing it. And I learned a lot making tonight's. So anything you want to get into after the video, maybe about the video we're going to watch or about anything at all, bring it up during the video. But I'm going to get ready to start tonight's video for you guys. And we'll continue our discussion after the video's over. But I'm going to bring up the studio set for watching videos. I always call this bringing in the film strip set because I feel like a teacher bringing in the film strip to watch a show for class, when they're hungover and don't want to teach. But let me switch it here. I shouldn't have said that. That's not always true. Sometimes it's true. But here we go. Tonight's video is called Project Facebook, and I'm going to let it speak for itself, and afterwards we'll hang out, talk about anything you guys want to, as usual. Facebook. It seems really great on the surface, and people love it. In fact, over 2 billion people use Facebook daily, and individual users average over 40 minutes on the site each day. So it is clearly very popular and widely used. But is it really a tool for people to connect and share their daily lives with each other? Or is it actually a weapon of social manipulation and mass surveillance disguised as an entertainment and socializing tool? Well, today on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, we're going to look into how Facebook may not be what we think it is at all, and how its origins may have actually been from the intelligence community and not Silicon Valley. Now, there is actually quite a bit of evidence for this theory. For instance, is it a mere coincidence that at the same time that Facebook was launched in February of 2004, a Pentagon civilian spy project called LifeLog was shut down? Let's start out by looking into Project LifeLog and explore whether Mark Zuckerberg and his buddies really created Facebook, or if it is actually just a rebranded Black Ops spy program. So what was Project LifeLog? Well, it was basically Facebook, but ran by the Defense Department. Just listen to this description from a Wired article announcing that the project was supposedly being canceled. It reads that the LifeLog project is an ambitious effort to build a database tracking a person's entire existence. Run by DARPA, the Defense Department's research arm, LifeLog aimed to gather in a single place just about everything an individual says, sees, or does. The phone calls made, the TV shows watched, the magazines read, the plane tickets bought, the emails sent and received. And out of this seemingly endless ocean of information, computer scientists would be able to plot distinctive routes in the data and map relationships, memories, events, and experiences. They said that LifeLog would be able to be an all-encompassing diary that could have turned into a near-perfect digital memory, giving its users computerized assistance with an almost flawless recall of what they had done in the past. You know, like your Facebook memories. But when this was announced, it was announced by the Department of Defense in 2003, and civil libertarians immediately pounced on it, and they argued that LifeLog could become the ultimate tool for profiling potential enemies of the state. Rightfully so. But this article goes on to explain that the project was quietly canceled, with no real explanations as to why, other than DARPA had had a change in priorities. But the very same month, the exact same thing is launched by Mark Zuckerberg as Facebook. Coincidence? Well, I don't believe in those, and you shouldn't either. And it would be a fantastical one, wouldn't it? But aren't they all, really? You know, we run into that quite a bit trying to expose this stuff to the sleeping masses. Coincidences. They're literally everywhere. But the fact remains that Project LifeLog was exactly what Facebook now is. The only difference is they got you to willingly do what they wanted to force on you by making it into a consumer product instead. Then you blindly agree to a user agreement that you do not read that gives Facebook the right to do literally anything they want to do with the information that you willingly feed into it. And they do. They have been exposed over and over again for sharing that information. And even if they weren't sharing it willingly, which they are, we all know that the intelligence community has access to all of the information shared on the internet anyway and can monitor it all at will. So whether Facebook willingly does it or not, it's happening, and all of it is now being done by choice. Isn't that amazing? The Defense Department wanted to know everything about civilians, wanted to trace their every moves, know their individual preferences and opinions, and even went so far as to launch a public program to do just that. And when the public response was negative, when confronted with this level of surveillance, all they did was move their efforts to the private sector. Because people were outraged when the government wanted to do it. But now they'll flock to the exact same thing when they're offered it as a product. And that is a frightening realization about society. We rush to embrace the exact same thing we were just outraged about. The project was canceled in 2004. The same month it was announced, Facebook is launched. You know, George Orwell was right about us. It wasn't that he was a prophet or he was able to see the future. He was observant. He just realized that's where people were heading, that we would give up everything for convenience. And that's what we've done. We've given up all of our privacy for convenience. We carry around tracking devices in our pocket. These smartphones, these computers that we all have, they're very convenient. But they're tracking devices, they're listening devices. We all have smart TVs. They're listening and recording everything that we do. We have Alexas in our house. I would never own one, but they're very popular. People have these things. That is constantly recording you. You know, we embrace this surveillance state because it's been corporatized. But it is completely controlled by the government. And despite the shocking similarities between LifeLog and Facebook, is there anything else tying them to the intelligence community? Well, yes, actually. Money. But to get further into that aspect, we're going to have to get into a company called in-Q-Tel. Now, in-Q-Tel is a venture capital firm funded by the CIA. And the stated reason for in-Q-Tel existing is to expand the research and development efforts of the CIA into the private sector in order to deliver innovative technology solutions that support the missions of the CIA and broader U.S. intelligence community. Now, in-Q-Tel was launched in 1999 with former CIA Director George Tenet explaining the vision behind it as being, we, the CIA, decided to use our limited dollars to leverage technology developed elsewhere. In 1999, we chartered in-Q-Tel. While we pay the bills, in-Q-Tel is independent of the CIA. The CIA identifies pressing problems, and in-Q-Tel provides the technology to address them. The in-Q-Tel alliance has put the agency back at the leading edge of technology. According to the Wall Street Journal, the reality is that in-Q-Tel runs literally all investment decisions by the CIA. And the way the venture capitalist works is they provide capital to a startup business that is in desperate need of cash. And they're great, revolutionary ideas out there that need cash to get rolling. There's plenty of them. But this is the CIA investing in what they want to get off the ground. And these early stage investments put the venture capitalist into the ground floor of the operations with an extremely large amount of influence over the decisions made by that firm or company. And what I'm saying is that the venture capitalist, which in this case is the CIA, is going to be able to steer the future of those companies, as well as how their technologies evolved and what they're going to be used for. So let me give you a brief history of in-Q-Tel's early investments. One of them was in a company called Keyhole Earth Viewer. In 2004, the same year, Keyhole Earth Viewer was acquired by another little startup that you may have heard of, Google. Now, at Google, Key Earth Viewer was turned into Google Earth, but it is co-operated by in-Q-Tel and funded by the CIA. Now, isn't it nice to know that the CIA and Google are on such close terms? But since it was founded, in-Q-Tel has made over 160 investments that we are aware of. in-Q-Tel doesn't disclose everything it invests in, but the investments that have been disclosed show that the focus has been in data. As far back as 2005, the Washington Post reported that virtually any U.S. entrepreneur, inventor, or research scientist working on ways to analyze data had probably received a phone call from in-Q-Tel, or at least been Googled by its staff of technology watchers. Well, Facebook launched in 2004, and the company received its first capital injection of $500,000 from Peter Thiel. The next two injections were $12.7 million from Thiel and in-Q-Tel partners in May of 2005, then $27.5 more million from an Accel-led round of financing that included Thiel, in-Q-Tel, and Greylock partners in April of 2006. Now, just for fun, I searched all those investors and in-Q-Tel at the same time, and here's what was found. Peter Thiel took in-Q-Tel funding for his startup from Paramore somewhere around 2004. Accel Partners sits on the board of directors of military defense contractor BBN with in-Q-Tel's CEO Gilman Louie. Greylock Partners, Howard Cox, the head of Greylock, served directly on the in-Q-Tel board of directors. Now, there is no real proof that in-Q-Tel or the CIA had any connection with Facebook, but if you're Mark Zuckerberg at a time where they're heavily investing in data and you're starting a data mining company basically, you'd think your phone is ringing with in-Q-Tel on the other end. And like I said, they don't have to disclose everyone they give money to and don't. Of course they don't. They're the venture capitalist firm of the CIA. So the last thing you can expect from them is honesty. But for those reasons, I personally believe LifeLog did become Facebook, and that Zuckerberg is just a front man for a government spy operation. And from the in-Q-Tel connections, it looks to be all major social media and search platforms as well. But I want to know what you guys think, as always. So let me know down in the comments below. And thanks so much for watching this video. Alright, that was the video tonight. I told you it was short, so it was about 11 minutes long. That was a lot of work. I'm telling you, you would be amazed the amount of work it takes to bring you that little bitty video. That was mind-blowing. I gotta start earlier. I am the worst. I'm the king of procrastination. And I love to put it off and put it off and put it off and put it off till the last day. and then have to scramble to research and put together a short video. But that's what we got this week, and hopefully you dug it. Let me get to your comments. Let me pull back up what you guys are saying, and see what you think. Josh says it's Q. Hey, don't think my eyebrow didn't go up over their name. In-Q-Tel, and the Q is featured, right? Now, we all know that I tend to think that Q is more of a psyop to divert people from what's really going on. And I hope to God I'm wrong, because I do want to be wrong. Trust me. And that's the thing here. These are theories for the most part that we're going to talk about. But there's a lot of facts to that. This started out as something that I had heard. I don't remember exactly how it came up again now that I'm trying to think about it. I was trying to think whose idea that was, but it came up somehow, and I looked into it, and it's true. And it's mind-blowing. Yeah, Kathy, I love DuckDuckGo. How'd you see DuckDuckGo? I use DuckDuckGo. I'm thinking about using a new one, though. There is a browser that We Are Change has been promoting that actually rewards you with cryptocurrency. But the thing that I like the most about it is it's really big into your protecting your personal identity and not sharing that with anybody. It's very big into privacy. So, but they all claim that. You know what I'm saying? Jessica says, I feel right at home here. Oh, I love hearing that. That's awesome. I don't do what anymore? Kathy. Clinton's mad at me. I have friends, trust me, that are QAnon followers. Good friends. Clinton's one of them. And then my buddy Nick's another. And I respect the hell out of you guys. That's why I shared it to that group. I love that group. I follow it. I'm into it. Clinton always thinks I don't. He sends me all kinds of things to look at, and he thinks I don't look at them. I do look at them. I am digging it. But I'm of the belief that this is hundreds of years of evil built up. And I want to believe that's coming down. I really do. But I think we need to take personal ownership of the situation and do something about it at our own level. Steve's out of Facebook jail? Robert says Q is Bernie 2.0. Yeah, it's powerful for sure. And I'm not saying either way, because I don't want to drive anybody away over something silly right off the bat. This is always very inclusive. I want to include everybody. I like different views. But if we're right, it's dangerous. It can be. You got to see that. If they're distracting, if it's a misinformation campaign. But you know what? I also think Anonymous is. I don't know how you feel about that. I also feel like Anonymous is pretty much controlled opposition. I don't think they're real hackers. I've never seen them do anything impressive that's made me think they're super hackers. Jessica says, I closely follow Q Drops too, as you should. Again, I follow the William Cooper method. Listen to everything, believe nothing. Take it all in. I want to be informed. And that's why I love conspiracy theories to begin with. Because I want to be informed. I want to learn. And you can't learn closed off, for one. And that's why I even explore things I don't agree with. And I think it's a good way to be. Joan doesn't know what Q is. Well, why don't we inform Joan really quick and give her a short... I wish I was a better person to do this, but QAnon is intel that is being dropped on a site called 4chan. And I hope I do a decent job of explaining what this is. But it's these top secret drops that people believe are coming from deep inside the Trump administration or tied to the Trump administration. I've heard a lot of different things. I've had a couple people on about it to teach me about it. Nick's been on, Clinton's even been on. And I've learned a lot, so I think I can do a decent job explaining what it is. So, this group, it's not really one person, most people don't believe, anyway. A group of people in the intelligence community and the military are trying to pull off a coup over the evil agenda that we all know is lording over us and trying to take over the world. So, all of this evil, the Democratic establishment, and the Republican side as well. I hate that I focus so much on the Democratic side. It's just that they're the snakes in the grass, and I feel like it's real important to emphasize them. But there's the letter next to their name really means little to nothing. But that's what Q is. So it's a group of people or a person sharing secret information with the public, and the messages are in a coded fashion. So they don't outright say it to you, it just shows you where to look, which I dig about it because it gets you looking up information, searching for truth on your own. People have gotten very informed following this stuff. That's why I like doing it. But Josh says Greta Thunberg is Q. You know what? Maybe she is. She's got the power and influence behind her. Right? Isn't it crazy? They're having this kid, a teenage girl, on a CNN panel as an expert on the Rona. This little girl isn't an expert on climate change, which is her prime topic, the thing that you would expect her to be appearing somewhere and talking about. She's not even an expert on that. But now she's an expert on the Rona. They're going to have her on a show, on the media, on the news, they call themselves news, as an expert. I'm trying to catch up with you guys' comments. Facebook is on fire. I love that. I think I made everybody mad over here, but I didn't mean to, and I do respect the hell out of you guys. But I hope I explained it to you. Let me know, Joan, if you got an understanding of what that is. Kathy says the supermarket is the person who made Ohio take down the website to which employers could report their employees who refuse to return to work. I know mine isn't going to be friendly to those either. We haven't gotten to that point yet, but I don't think that's going to go well when people try to say they don't want to come back. But we've been open the whole time. So there's only one particular place that wasn't, and that's because they were getting a full rebuild. So I don't think if any of them came back from unemployment and said they didn't want to return to work, I don't think that they would get away with that. I think they would lose their unemployment. Have I talked to the Bernie Bridge lady has gone over to Trump? You know, a lot of Bernie supporters have, and they are again, but they did before. I have a lot of close friends on Facebook that I met through Bernie Sanders that have went to Donald Trump. You know, because a lot of people believe that he's anti-establishment. You know, they also a lot of times happen to follow this QAnon. They're usually intermarried, and that's where that truth has led them for now. So I don't dispute that. I'm definitely not even going to tell anybody how to think anymore politically because I'm not about politics anymore. Really, I'm about direct action and doing things in your community and stuff like that. But I'm looking for comments about the video. Was anybody... Yeah, you're welcome, Joan. Was anybody into the video that wanted to know anything from that? Or what are you guys talking about? Maybe Spotify will buy your channel. Yeah. That would be great, right? Sell out to the man for 100K. Eddie says, how do you say your name? I'm terrible with names. And that one could go either way. But politics are corrupt, anyways, is what was said. And that's absolutely true. Politics are completely corrupt. And at the national stage, they're a show. It's theater. It's theater for those who aren't into the WWE. You know, they want to feel like they're participating. That's our show. Josh says, "Who is Zuck then?" I don't know, but he doesn't act like a regular mortal, does he? Maybe, I almost used a Mark Zuckerberg picture in the reptilian video that we just did. I almost did use a picture of him. Teresa says, I love the analog TV. I had two I was trying to keep forever and I lost storage. We need to buy old things, old cars, old houses, old condos, old cell phones, computers, wired internet. I have wired internet, but I still have Wi-Fi in my house, which I would like to eliminate. Those frequencies are harmful to you. It's not just 5G that is harmful. It's a lot of these frequencies are very dangerous that we're exposed to and we expose ourselves to out of convenience. I mentioned it in the video that we run to this social media platform, not just Facebook. Twitter is weaponized as well. I could have just as easily done a video on their connections to the intelligence community. They're probably connected to in-Q-Tel as well through the CIA. The more you look into the CIA, the more you find out they're into everything. Everything media. And they have been probably since Operation Mockingbird and probably even well before that. It's their entire purpose. Why wouldn't they use the media? Why wouldn't they take full advantage of that tool? Brett says, did Bill Gates develop the software that became Microsoft? No. I don't know if that's what you're asking. But Bill Gates pretty much stole credit for it in a way from someone else. He actually told them he couldn't do it at first and referred them to the person that he kind of ripped off. That person just never called them back, didn't respond to it, I guess wasn't interested, and then they went with Bill. Marie said, I came up with an idea. Why don't you just make a group we can all join and post your findings, talk about it, and you can nab some show ideas, might grow this show for you. That is a good idea. So I could do that on the page, make a Yankee Peeps group, that everybody could join that wanted to share, things that they want to see covered on the show. Twitter's the worst. You may have told me how to say your name. I'm going to go back up and see. It's cool. It's Eddie, like the guy's name. Cool. Thank you. She said, it's a girl in the picture. I hate that on social media because you never really know. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry. But do you know anything about them blockchaining our thoughts and paying us to stay home and watch ads after being chipped and getting paid with crypto if we react the way they want? Basically mining Bitcoin. There's an app for that. And I recently covered it on the YouTube channel. I'd play the video for you, but we just watched it. I still can if everybody's interested and wants to see it. But Patent 666 is the video on the YouTube channel. It goes all into this patent. It's a real patent, patented by Microsoft. So Bill Gates isn't directly involved, but he was running Microsoft at the time of the patent process. So he's married to it as much as possible. And that's what it does. That's exactly what it says in the patent, that it rewards you with cryptocurrency for performing behaviors. So yes, I do know a little bit about that, and what I know Scares me. I don't like this talk. I don't like any of this talk. And Gates isn't really the only one talking about digital tracking or some kind of a system like that. Maybe it wouldn't be a chip, but some kind of reward system. The Democrats, with the new stimulus, are talking about moving us all to a digital dollar. Now, that would be kind of the same basic idea, and I'm sure you would have some kind of a tracking card that it's put on that you have to use in order to participate in the program. And then that way they can shut it off whenever they want. If you become an enemy of the state, you become a dissenting voice that's causing too much trouble. It's a really good way for them to control you. I don't look forward to what I see coming. It scares me. Kathy says I'm not a twit. You're not. I know that's true. That's one of the people I've talked to in real life. We've had real conversations. Kathy's super smart. I don't fully know the definition of a twit. I feel like looking it up because from what I understand, you clearly do not fit that definition. But Joe Rogan cashed in. Did he sell out? Joe Rogan cashed in. I don't know what that means. Did he already sell out and I just didn't know, or did this happen recently? Marie said we would have never known of Mockingbird without social media. We've learned a lot with this little tool. It's a tool and a weapon. It's both. Both things are true. It's a weapon used against us, and it's a tool that we can use. They will take it away from us. They're taking it away in chunks as fast as they possibly can. They'll take the whole thing away eventually. He said everyone here is great, and that is absolutely true. I've been blessed. For whatever reason, no matter what we talk about, the group that shows up for this show is just awesome. No matter where I share it, too. I've never had a problem. I've just been lucky. Marie said Carol shared a video of me today showing me the CARE Act, H.R. 748, which first introduced in January of 2019, a full year before COVID, considered a world pandemic. How is that possible? It was passed 4/27. It was first introduced. Well, that's possible because they have this stuff on the back burner. They have legislation waiting to pass anytime there's a crisis, anytime there's something that happens, whether pre-planned or not. Doesn't matter. They have all of the stuff they want to get up and get done and move forward with. And these kind of things give them a green light to do that stuff. Teresa says that must be why Evil O was giving away 5,000 bitcoins. She like Bam Bam are utterly disgraceful. Obama is disgraceful, and I'm ashamed that I voted for him. He got me. He's slick. He's slick. It takes a long time to fully wake up. You know that? It really does. And to really fully come to terms with how deeply embedded the evil is in power over us all. It takes a long time to see that. So you can't really be mad at yourself, especially a con man of his stature. But he did a lot of damage. Eddie says, I see the notification for you going live and I get excited. That's awesome. I love hearing that stuff. Joan calls this the happiest time of her day. That blows me away. Because sometimes I sit here scared. Because we do this show every night. This show happens every night at 7 Central, 8 Eastern. I learned 2 more, but then I forgot them. Because my mind just won't hold on to it. Those are the only 2 I know. But we do it every weeknight. That's 5 a week. That's a lot. Especially for a live show. And sometimes I'm scared to death before we go live. Because it's pencils down at 6:30. It takes me 20 minutes to set this up. To get the streaming up on my streaming software and all that set up. It takes me at least 20 minutes. So at 6:30, it's pencils down. A lot of times I'm not ready. Because it's hard even coming up with stuff to talk about each day. But this night, this is my easy night. This is a layup. I could do this in my sleep. Joe got 100 million. Hold on, let me back up. For what? 100 million. Joe cashed in. Joe sold his show or sold his YouTube channel. This is interesting. I want to know. Wouldn't surprise me though. 100 million. Very popular podcast. The most popular podcast on the planet, really. The Joe Rogan Show. And it's a good show. I like it. Helen says, I was so blinded by Obama, I made a post about him staying president until Hillary cheated Bernie was stopped. Bless my heart. Right? You can't be mad at yourself. It's hard to. It's really hard to. We had the best of intentions. Teresa says, what? I don't know what that was that triggered the what. But I want to help you out because you're participating over there. I'm keeping track of the watch party comments. I'm real bad about not doing that when I start a watch party because it's extra hassle. I already have 12 tabs open on my computer just preparing for this show. But I got to go back and forth because unfortunately Facebook does not pull all the comments into one place. I wish like crazy they would figure out how to do that, but they don't. Josh says, what do you think about our foods being sprayed at the store? That was a crazy video that Josh shared with me, and I haven't fact-checked it. But if you want, I'll pull it up and show it to you. And I don't have time to see if you actually want, so let me make sure I'm going to be able to before I run my mouth too much. No, I can't. I'll share the link in the main feed if I can. Oh, I shouldn't have even attempted it. Sorry, I overspoke. I was going to try, but it won't let me do anything from inside the live feed studio. Steve says you should call Spotify. Oh, he's leaving YouTube and going to Spotify for $100 million. What? But yeah, look up this video Josh is talking about. I can't even get a hold of the link right now. Maybe Josh can share it here, but he sent it to me, and I still need to fact check it. But they were spraying the shelves at a grocery store with something, and what was that? But wow, Joe Rogan sold his show to Spotify for $100 million. It's crazy. He's also talking about moving out of California if they don't release the lockdown. Moving to Texas, actually. Because of his stand-up. Because you're not allowed to perform right now. Yeah, Dale, sprayed with what? Yeah, I don't know. But this guy was walking in a hazmat suit, walking down the grocery store aisle, spraying the shelves with something. And I've seen other videos of the exact same thing. So Teresa was talking about Joe Rogan. Yeah, sold out for $100 million. Yeah, the reason why Teresa's the only person that you can see, Lee, is because we're on in a few different places. This is a watch party over here where you're at, and then there's the live feed on the page and my timeline. You can get to that one too. So I'm having to jog back and forth between the two places to keep track of the comments. And that's why I'm reading some people's names that don't show up where you're at. And that's what that's about. Usually we're on YouTube too. Usually there's even more people that you can't see that I'm somehow talking to. And for all you can tell, they're imaginary. I promise you they're real. And he says, it's worth it for you to do this, man. I promise you, because even if you only one person finds truth from your work, it is worth it in my opinion. A lot of us in America don't even have a fair shot at truth with all the media and screwed up education systems. You don't. You're indoctrinated, not educated in this country. That's the way it is. That's what we have in this country. We don't have an education system. We have an indoctrination system. They're just training you to be a good member, good productive member of society, a good worker bee. To pull your cog, do your part to move things forward, not to think, not to question, just accept things, repeat tasks, regurgitate information. That's what you're trained to do. You're not trained how to think. You're not taught how to think for yourself. They don't want that. They don't want you educated. So they try to shut down any truth. You're absolutely right. So just the fact that this show's getting out to you is a blessing. And it's on social media. So again, like you were pointing out earlier, the tool can be used for good, but it will be taken away from us. I really believe that it will. Jessica says shop local, know your grocer, know your farmer. Babels was talking about this. You know how there's supposedly a food shortage? Well, there's not. These farms have all kinds of food. And if you get in contact with them, they will directly sell to you. And you can probably build a relationship with them to continue that in the future. So reach out to your local farms, and buy directly from them. They're not coming to get this food. They're letting it go bad. Because, well, one side of the argument could be because they just can't. The other side could be that they're allowing it to get out of hand. They're allowing this crisis to be created. Hey, Nelda. Lee says, thank you. That makes me feel better. You thought I was talking to ghosts, didn't you? No. Yeah, there's other people. It's on another feed, the original feed. Eddie says, my kids finished school today, actually, and I'm already looking for a curriculum to homeschool. Someone said unschooling classical was the best. I don't know anything about different curriculums, but I am very in favor of homeschooling. I think that's a great way to go, especially if you have the time to do it. That's fantastic. So I definitely support that. And that's the only way they're going to get a real education, if it comes from you. And the truth is getting harder and harder and harder to spread. Think about what happens to people that try to share the truth. Like, use anybody you want. Right now, Julian Assange is sitting in a prison cell, a terrorist prison cell, for sharing the truth, for being what a real journalist should be, and then bullshit journalists, fake news, is rewarded. Rachel Maddow makes $300,000 an episode, last I heard. It's probably more than that by now, even though her ratings have probably dropped because mainstream media's holdover people is slipping away. But Marie says we had a farmer drop on our porch. Met him at farmer's market a couple years ago. So you're getting deliveries from a local farmer? You got it set up, huh? You can do this. You can supply locally. You can make these relationships. It's just we've been trained to depend on the system. So that's how they want us. Oh, Josh, thank you. Josh shared the food spray video. I'm going to see if I'm able to copy that. Yeah, and I'm going to put it in the watch party too. Because we're only on Facebook today, so I can actually participate a little better. If it's going to let me paste it. There we go. That's the video over in the watch party if you guys want to look at it. That's the video of them spraying the grocery store shelves that I was talking about earlier. Thanks for sharing that, Josh. Marie says, unschool for the win. She will thrive. So apparently unschooling is the way to go. Steve says farmers are dropping boxes on porches in an effort to not waste the food, or because that's something that's been arranged. Either way, I'm digging it, but I'm thinking it's probably the first one. that it's something out of the necessity to just not want to throw this food out. There's no reason for it to go to waste. But you can, like I'm saying, reach out. I know it for a fact. I live in a rural area, so I know people that are doing this. Robert says, I buy a half side of beef, but it is against the law to buy from farms in some states. Is that true? I don't question it for a second. You know, in my state, for instance, it's illegal to collect rainwater. Why would that be? Why would that be? It is, though. A lot of weird things are illegal. That's crazy that you can't buy from farms in some states. But I'm sure you can find you an under the table deal. I'm sure they'll work around because they're having to waste a lot of food because of what's going on. Did you hear the cat? Did you hear that? She's still a problem. She's still going through her thing, as we talked about last night. I failed to get her fixed in time, and she is suffering through her first heat. But it will be her last. I promise you, kitty. I will get you fixed. But if you hear her, that's why. Josh says it also depends on the farm. What kind of licensing they have? Shouldn't depend on anything. If I'm a farm and someone wants to buy tomatoes from me and I grow tomatoes, why can't I sell them tomatoes? You know what I mean? This is America. I thought this was America. Well, I wish I had the South Park guy, you know, Randy, in that little video where he's like, oh, I thought this was America. My bad. I thought this was America. You can't buy from a regular farm. Robert says, let me rephrase that. It is against the law for farms to sell to the public in some states. Shouldn't be. He said it's also illegal to collect rainwater in Alabama. Helen says you can also see if there's Facebook groups in your area of other parents for the homeschooling thing. Marie says farmers markets have been closed, so he was happy to do it. Shared his info with a couple friends too. Right on. Kathy says probably due to lack of inspections on why you can't sell directly from a farm. But whose protection is that really for? Is it for our protection or for the protection of their dollar, their ability to sell to the people and not wanting you to do that workaround and go to the farms yourself, not wanting you to do that? Is it more that or more to protect you with regulations? I think it's more the former. That's what I really think's going on. Jones says if farmers have contracts with dairy processors or any other processor and the farmer sells to a private person, they'll lose their contract and no one else will pick them up. Boy, they got it locked up, don't they? If I can't have it, can't nobody have it. That's ridiculous. See, if I was a farmer, that would be the kind of thing make me break some laws. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to let this go to waste. I wouldn't. Just let that happen. I couldn't do it. I would have to be a rebel renegade. And I really think a lot of us really need to be thinking more along the lines of unplugging from this system. This system is not heading towards a good end. You know, and again, a lot of people think I'm wrong. I want to be. But if I'm right, we're going to wish that we'd made some kind of preparations to unplug, you know, and at least prepare ourselves to be ready for definitely things like social media to be taken away from us, but the power grid, all kinds of things. We don't understand or realize sometimes how dependent on this all we are. It's kind of scary if you really think about it. Joe Rogan, speaking of him again, someone that's newly rich and part of the 1%, Joe Rogan has a good stand-up bit about what would happen, for instance, if the power grid was to go down. It wouldn't take long, if you really think about it, for humanity to devolve to a caveman-like state when something like that happens. Yes, Steve. Did you see this? I want everybody to understand now. Important information coming on the Shawn Yankey Show. This is going to be crucial. I really want to make sure everybody knows about this. I really think maybe you need to share again, even if you've already shared. Maybe hit the share button one more time. I'll promise you 20, 30 more minutes of show. Because Steve reminded me of something that I got to get out. Even though it's not a conspiracy, this is truth. This is raw truth, and it's happening right now. This is happening. I'm so happy. Everybody shared and invited your friends, got everybody in here you can possibly get in here. I really want you to know that cannabis is effective against COVID. Cannabis helps with COVID. Not that I needed a reason, but if you needed a reason to enjoy this miracle plant, it has thousands of uses and is so beneficial, so terrific. With these frightening times, enjoy cannabis and know that it is also protecting you from the scary Rona. I'm protecting myself now. Babels, I think I need to smoke a little more. I'm worried about the Rona, And take vitamin D. C as well. Protects against the Rona too. I'm not on YouTube today, so I can tell you about vitamin C. I don't know if Facebook has that policy yet, but on YouTube, are you ready to be blown away? You're not supposed to talk about vitamin C. You can get your videos taken down for talking about vitamin C. The other thing you can get your videos taken down for talking against is the WHO. Easily get your stuff taken down by talking about or speaking out about against the WHO. They're open with that. I got an alert on my channel, a message that will take you down if you talk about this. They actually let us know. They don't let you know all the time. Like right now, I can't live stream over there, and I don't know why. Kathy said, I think rainwater collection is illegal here in Oklahoma too, but I do it anyway. F them. Hashtag F them, and you're right. They got no right to tell you you cannot collect rainwater. What? Who is that to protect? What are you going to do with it? Were they afraid you're going to test it? Find out what's in it? Is that why? There's no other reason why they wouldn't want you collecting it. Well, they don't want you to be self-sufficient. They want you to depend on their water supply. They don't want you to find ways to provide for yourself. What other reason would there be? Teresa says selenium kills the viruses. Selenium. What is that? What is selenium? It may be something I've already heard about. Why at the 1 hour mark do I seem to start having a lot of problems navigating my tongue and my lips working together? But selenium kills viruses. I need more information. I know that another thing effective against this Rona that's not being talked about in the media, even though our president is taking it, is that hydroxychloroquine. I thought I was going to do it. I really did. I had so much faith in myself I was going to make it through that word. I didn't do it. Should have went with the prescription name of it. It's easier to say, and Kathy's told me multiple times. Really could have easily done that, but I forgot it because I never learned it. I'm hard-headed, and I keep going, dude, you're going to learn how to say this word. You're going to get it. It's a tongue twister, and I fall and trip over it every time. I can't do it. But the president's taking it, and they use it all over the world. It's effective. It works. And they're shaming it, saying that there's not enough science. There's not enough research. Not enough has been done to make sure this is effective. But these drugs that we're talking about right now, Joan says Plaquenil. Plaquenil and, vitamin D, vitamin C, all this stuff, they're not harmful to take. It's not going to hurt you. Like President Trump isn't hurting himself right now taking this drug? And if it's effective, what's the harm? Why wouldn't you tell people? It's like in the beginning, there was a story that ibuprofen might be bad, that it might not be a good idea to take ibuprofen if you're suffering from symptoms of this virus. And they were shutting that down. This is fake news. This is fake news, bad information. What's it hurt to just stay away from ibuprofen? Maybe that's a good idea. You know, in the same breath, they'll tell you we don't know. We don't fully know about this virus and what it's capable of and how far it will go on and whether we'll cure it and blah, 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 blah. And then right out the other side of their mouth, they know everything. They know exactly what you need to do and what's best for you. I don't think so. Yeah, zinc. But there's other reasons why they don't want that out there, why they don't want that exposed, and why they don't want people talking about that. You know, Trump talked about it months ago. You know, I always give credit where credit's due. Lee says I use elderberry syrup to ward off the COVID to get your vitamins. Is that what you mean? Raymond says, no wonder I haven't caught the killer bug. You take a lot of vitamins or you're on that medication. Raymond says they consider rainwater to be a state resource to be sold is the reason why it's illegal to collect rainwater. That's incredibly interesting. Did not know that. Steve says Jimmy Dore did a show today about weed protecting people from the COVID. Love, love, love that information is getting out there. I love that cannabis is becoming socially acceptable. More and more and more each day, the stigma is breaking down around cannabis, and people are realizing that this is actually a miracle plant that is here for all of our enjoyment and benefit that we need to use to heal people. It's magic, and it protects against a cone of COVID. What doesn't it do? Like, I want to know that. I really want to know what cannabis doesn't do. It's amazing. It's amazing to me. I was so happy when I read that article. I couldn't believe it. And then when I clicked on it and found out it wasn't just clickbait bullshit, I was even happier. But, yeah, that word's easier. Thank you, Joan. Steve says hydroxy must be taken with zinc. Very effective. And Trump said that months ago. But why do they bury it? Because they want to sell their medication. Did you know these people, they can patent their own cures to these things? They can have foreknowledge, work on a drug for it, patent it, and then profit off of it. Push the agenda to their drug and profit off of it. You know, people crapped all over that Plandemic movie, for example. That's where I learned that. I told you I have problems at the 1 hour mark. Judy Mikovits, the doctor in that video that everybody's also slandering and trying to discredit, it exposed that in that video. It's also true. They have the ability, like Fauci can use his position to steer the narrative towards his version of the cure, what his agenda is. Eddie says cannabis is socially acceptable more, but my question is if they mass produce it, will they poison us with it? I don't want big pharma or the chemical companies like Monsanto is trying to get involved in cannabis. Do we need to fight that with everything we possibly have? Everything. And that needs to be something that's not touched. Please don't ruin cannabis. You understand? It can't allow it to happen. We've allowed a lot of evil shit to happen. That's something we better not ever allow. We can't let, these chemical companies corrupt cannabis. Because it doesn't kill, Raymond. You cannot overdose on it. It doesn't hurt you. It's not harmful. And no matter how much I've ever smoked, it's never been as dangerous as anything else that is legal, like alcohol, for instance. Yeah, Eddie, no one from like Monsanto. I want to buy from, like it is right now, dispensaries that are getting it from local farms. That's how most of the places that have it legally now are set up and operating. Or they may buy from, you know, national farms, but it's not really any more than that. It's like benefiting the local economies, and all this money that can be made is benefiting these states in big ways. So people are getting on board. It's waking people up, especially the money that's to be made in this. Raymond says you grow your own. I need to. I need to. Babos is mad at me. I spend too much. I've gotten spoiled. I like the higher grade stuff, and I've gotten spoiled, and I don't want to smoke the dirt weed anymore. I want the good stuff. I've gotten used to it, but it's expensive. It costs too much, and I know why she's mad at me. That's too much what I'm spending. I need to grow it. That's the only way I'm going to get quality medication, because that's what it is, and that I can afford is to grow it. Joan says you watched the second part of Pandemic a few nights ago. I think Lori shared it. It's really hard to find a good link to that video. Oh my God, they are aggressively shutting that down. You have to wonder why. It can't be that the whole thing is bullshit. Well, they let other things out that are bullshit. They didn't aggressively shut down my reptilian video. It's There's something they're hitting right on the nail in that video. That's why. And I'm not vouching for the whole video. I'm just telling you there's no reason to shut down something as aggressively as they've shut down that video unless it's exposing real truth and a narrative that they do not want in front of the people. Jones says, I can collect rainwater, but the next county over charges a rain tax that homeowners have to pay for the water that runs off their roof and outbuildings, and I have no idea what that's supposed to pay for. Probably drinks for a congressman or something stupid like that. Jones says, oh, wait, that was the same comment. Eddie said the only way you die from cannabis is if 100 pounds fall out of a plane and crushes you. Yeah, that would kill you. I prefer sativa. Eddie asked if I like sativa or indica. Although, at the dispensary this last trip, the clerk that was working in there tried to get all elitist on me and was like, it's really the terpenes in the cannabis that gives it the effect. It's not whether or not it's sativa or indica. And I'm like, well, how am I going to know that before I smoke it? How am I going to know about the terpenes? He's like, well, you can smell it. You can smell them in there. But most dispensaries aren't going to let you smell it. It's sealed at most places. This is a little homegrown or home-operated mom-and-pop dispensary. So he was able to let me smell it. And he's right. He's right. And this was actually a sativa-dominant hybrid that I got this time. But I liked it, and I chose it because of the smell. And I agree with everything he said now, and that's how I would preferably choose from now on. But like I said, most places you can't do that. Steve says it's easy to grow. I hope so, man, because I'm going to get going. I got a big job because Babos wants me to do it in a particular place, and I'm looking at that place right now, and there's a ton of cleaning and work that needs to be done in there. So I need to get started on that and stop dragging my feet, because I'm spending too much money. Brett says I throw out seeds in the yard, and in winter it comes up every spring. Eddie says it's always the smell and the crystalline look for me. I like the keef. Yeah, I love keef. Oh my God. Right, the weed I don't like to use that. I'm trying to break myself of using that word. That's actually was a derogatory term. And it's part of the discrediting that they did to cannabis, calling it weed and calling it marijuana. That was part of the way they discredited weed. marijuana, cannabis. Ugh, I'm having a tough time. But yeah, the keef is amazing, and I love that stuff. But the what I currently have, the cannabis I currently have, it doesn't provide much keef, but I've had some that provides a lot. It's just different. This one is more sticky, but I like the crystal look too. But I go for sativa if I have a choice, if I get an option. Kathy says terpene education is the bud tender's job. Yeah, but look, that's what I'm saying. At this dispensary, I was able to smell it, but at a different one, I wouldn't be. So does that information really help me as much as sativa and indica does? Because that at least lets me know what to expect from that strain, what reaction I can expect to get from that strain. Deanne says someone's growing it. You can too. I know I can. I know I can. I'll get it off the ground. I'll get it going. I believe. I believe in me. I believe I can do it. Lee says 40 years ago, I always wanted Acapulco Gold, not Mexican skunk weed. Yeah, the quality is so much of a difference. Babas doesn't understand because she doesn't smoke. She can't partake. It gives her migraines. Saddest thing I've ever heard. But it is so beneficial. The higher quality, it's such a dramatic difference. There really is. But they fleece you at the dispensary. They rob you. It's great. It's great stuff. But they really, really rip you off. But thanks for watching tonight, guys, and taking part in the show. I really appreciate it, and I hate to end anyways, ever. I'm really bad at goodbyes. But especially conspiracy theory night. I hate to end the show. But life gets in the way of our fun yet again. I have to wrap up. We got to wrap up for the evening. But remember, we do this show every weeknight at the same time. So if you had a good time, come back tomorrow night and have a good night. Tomorrow night is usually rant night. Usually the night after conspiracy theory night is usually rant night. And I think we're going to stick with that too. But come back tomorrow night and I'll see you guys then. Thanks for watching.